Hey everybody, welcome back to But I Did It. I'm your host Lashay, and today's episode is all about what it really means to move forward. Not just talking about it, but living it. Because moving forward doesn't always mean rushing ahead. Sometimes it means slowing down, getting clear, and letting go of what's been holding you back. Let's break it down, y'all. We're talking intention, letting go, and momentum. This is just three simple ideas that when they really work together can completely shift your life. The power of purpose, the power of really being intentional about where you want to go. Moving forward starts with clarity. And this is something that was talked about on my last episode or the previous episode with Bill Goodwin. And he was saying that clarity precedes peace, right? So you have to get that clarity, knowing what direction you actually want to move in. Intention isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional with your energy, your time, and your focus. What you focus on is where your intention and your energy flows to. How to set emotional intention, like what do you want in your next season? Where do you see yourself in your next season? So when I was going through my whole shift of like what my next phase was going to look like as far as my separation, I was really unsure whether or not I wanted to have a separation in my marriage. And it was just extremely confusing. And so there was no clarity for me for a long time. And when I got intentional about what I wanted outside of the marriage, outside of the kids, outside of, the storm, like I talked about, when I focused on myself, I was able to see what I really wanted. And that's what helped me become intentional about where I was going. Once I figured out what I wanted and what my focus really needed to be, then I was able to set my intention on how to move forward. And it really made a shift for me because I set my mind to it, and then things just by themselves literally started to fall in line for me. So when I came back from Texas and out here to California, and originally, like I said, I was in a confused state and I didn't know what I was going to do. And within a few days, my life just shifted. I went from, the married stage to being in a separation. And I was in my mom's home, staying with my mom. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything, but I had to make my mind up about what I was going to do. Was I going to stay here or was I going to go back? And so again, when I made my mind up and I got intentional, by the grace of God, everything just started to fall in place. And it was just such a peace that fell over me. And so being being intentional about what you want and where you want to go is really a huge step in moving forward. When your intention is strong, you stop chasing everything that looks good and you start attracting what's really meant for you. But here's the thing, you can't create space for new intentions if you're still holding on to what's behind you. And this was such a hard learning lesson for me. Releasing and letting go so that I can rise. Letting go isn't a weakness, it's emotional strength. Honestly, you can't move forward without letting go of the things that are holding you down. And I was talking to my cousin about this one day, and I had given her an example that kind of just came to me. And I don't know where I heard this from before. It's something I will have to honestly look up, but right now I did not do that. So I'm going to just tell y'all about it. The example that came to me was a story that I heard before from, I think, a movie or something, but it was a trap set for a animal. And the trap is when an animal goes and sticks their hand into this bucket and they want to get what's in there, food, candy, whatever's in there to attract them. When they go to grab it and they have that and they try to pull out, that's what's keeping them stuck. They cannot pull out because they have this in their hand. But if they were to actually drop it, let it go, and then they will be able to pull their hand out. But because they want so bad what they have already grabbed and have a hold on, that they're trapped. They're stuck there holding it. And it's such a great metaphor because when you think about it, you always see yourself like, I have what I want. And that's where I was in my mind. I was like, I finally have what I've been searching for so long. Like I have my family, I have my home. Like this is everything I've worked for so long. I cannot let this go. But I had to realize that by holding on I was keeping myself in a place that was not serving me emotionally and mentally. And so even to the point that it started to become physically, like I started to see myself, and I talked about this before, how physically I didn't look like myself. I didn't feel like myself. And so I had to be able to get to the point to let go so that I could rise and get to a place of clarity and peace. And so you can't move forward if your hands are still holding the past, which is that example that I'm talking about right now, right? It's in your hands, you have it in your grasp, and you just won't let it go. Let it go. I don't know who that's for, somebody out there, but release it. Release it so that you can rise. I feel like, you see those balloons with the weight that's holding them down. And it's like if you just untie yourself from that weight, you'll be able to float. Just let it go. Let it go and float, rise above. Whether that's a mistake, a relationship, or even an old version of yourself, it's okay to let it down. Let it go. Talk about the discomfort of letting go. It doesn't always feel peaceful, at least not in the beginning. Like I told you, for me, there was so much confusion and honestly fear. There was a lot of fear because it was like, Lashay, what are you doing? Like, girl, what are you doing with your life right now? And I don't know. I had to sit in that, but I had to remind myself to not stay there. Like, embrace it. This is what's happening. Okay, let's process that and keep going. And so it is scary, and the peace does not come right away. Like, it's not an automatic bam, now I feel peace. It does take some time. Like, even right now, in a position where I'm at in my situation, I am still entering that peace phase. I have my days where it's not peaceful, there's not clarity, it's complete chaos, it's chaotic, but I would not trade it because I am having more of the peace than I was before. And I know that I'm moving in that right direction. What are you still carrying that's keeping you stuck? Ask yourself that today. That is a challenge question from me to you. What are you still carrying that's keeping you stuck? It's just time to let go. And you know what? Once you let it go, like I said, you start to rise, you start to get that freedom, and something starts to build in you. And then all of a sudden, build up this momentum. You're moving. And it's kind of like a diesel truck. I have a lot of family members that drive diesels. And so I always kind of think about that because I remember my uncle used to tell me, like, don't you ever jump in front of a diesel. The momentum that a diesel carries and the time that it would take to stop, once it's already in motion and moving, it's crazy. He would always warn me to be careful about that. And so that's, what I think of, that momentum of like a diesel. Once you start moving and moving, that momentum, you're just going to start propelling yourself forward. So you have to be able to let go first so that you can pick up that momentum. When you stop trying to rewrite what's already been written, you finally start writing the next chapter. Where momentum comes in. Once you've set your intention and release what's holding you back, you can start moving differently. It's a game changer, I'm trying to tell you. Momentum is the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. It's that gap. And all you need is that little bit of motion. Once you get moving, you're going to be able to close that gap. You're going to go from who you were, that old version, to becoming who you are today. And it's not as big of a gap as you realize. It's really right there in front of you. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about staying consistent, even when it's slow, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even in the joyous moments where it's like you feel like you're already there, but you're not. So don't trick yourself in those moments where it's like, oh, I can rest. No, don't let that momentum go. Small steps compound. Those little bitty steps add up to the big deal, right? Momentum is built, it's not given. You have to be able to pour into yourself. You have to be able to make the decision to work on you. And this was, again, one of those lessons that had to come full circle for me because I felt like that's what I had been doing for these last few years, like working on me and my family and everything. But really, I was shifting that focus and I was projecting the work that I wanted to do on myself on my family and on my spouse. And I was seeing the progress in those areas and I wasn't seeing anything for myself. But in truth, I wasn't really building on myself. And so now I'm back to that place where I'm able to say, I want to build me as well. Imperfect progress. The key is to just keep showing up for you. Like I said, that consistency. How consistent are you? And when I'm talking some consistency, it does not look the same every day. Your 100% varies. And so you can't expect to show up exactly the same way you did yesterday. Last week was a hard week for me. Like my kids were sick, things were happening at my job, of course, life, like it was just a heavy week. And so each day, like Monday, I showed up great. I was so ready. I felt like I looked good. I felt good, like all of it. I was just on point. By Tuesday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a, what's it called? Like a stop point. Like I had to call in for work because my baby was sick. So I was like, it's okay. I'm gonna rejuvenate. I'll be back Wednesday. I tried to show back up Wednesday. No go. The next kid, I have 3 babies. And so the sickness just kind of jumped from one to the next. So by the end of the week, by Friday, y'all, when I say I was in bed by like 8 o'clock, I was done. I was so tapped out. It was not, but I still showed up each day as the best version of myself that I could. And so that's what I'm trying to get to is that consistency does not look the same every day. It really varies on how you are carrying the load each day. And so sometimes, we carry it really well. We got it on our back. Bam, we're moving. You know what I'm saying? And then some days it's like, okay, I have to take that load and shift it. I'm gonna drag it today. Like I'm not putting it down, but it's not on my back either. Like I'm just dragging it today. Like I'm just getting as far as I can with moving it. Sometimes, we take it and put it on our shoulders. Sometimes, we carry it different each day, but it doesn't mean that we're not still continuing to move forward with what we want. It's just how you carry it. So just be consistent and remind yourself that as long as you're not giving up, progress is progress. Imperfect progress. Continue to move as yourself. Movement is not just milestones. So don't try to count each step. You know what I mean? Like I was doing that. I was really stuck on that. I was like, okay, oh, check mark, check mark, check mark. But you know what? Everything doesn't add up to a check mark. Like some things is a really half of a check mark. I don't know, half a star. But everything isn't this big milestone moment. And I had to realize that for myself because I like to see progress as like, voila, look, I did it. And so going through these last few months, I've been having to kind of remind myself that just getting up in the morning, getting myself together, getting the kids together, getting out the door, getting to school on time and work on time, that's progress, right? And so it's not always a huge milestone, and that's okay. Momentum doesn't mean you never stop. It means you never give up. Like I just said, it does not look the same every day. You rest, you recalibrate, and you keep going. So when you think about moving forward, remember, set your intention, let go of what's heavy, and honor your own rhythm as you build momentum. Moving forward isn't about having it all figured out. It's about trusting that you're already on your way. So whatever this next season looks like for you, walk in it with intention. Release what doesn't serve you. Let that shit go. And stay in motion. You've got this. Thanks, you guys, for listening. This is But I Did It. I hope this episode spoke to you. Share with someone who needs it. And let this be a reminder that you're worth it. Make sure you're following for more real conversations about growth, healing, and doing the work. Bye, you guys.